Deep dive. Today we're looking into Agnus Castus, the chaste tree, using Boericke's Materia Medica as our guide.
Yes, a foundational text in homeopathy.
Our goal is really to get a handle on its key features and, its traditional uses as laid out by Boericke.
Okay.
So let's get started.
Well, what jumps out immediately in Boericke is how Agnus Castus is described as primarily affecting the sexual organs,
Affecting them how, exactly?
leading to a decrease in sexual vitality. And interestingly, it's not just physical. The text links this directly to mental depression and a loss of what it calls nervous energy.
Affecting both men and women.
Yes, both sexes, though Boericke does state it's often more noticeable in men. He even uses this striking phrase, premature old age from abuse of sexual power.
Wow, okay. That's quite specific. And speaking of men, Boericke goes into detail there, doesn't he?
He does. Things like a yellow urethral discharge, difficulty with erections.
Impotence, even.
Yes, impotence with the genitals feeling cold and relaxed, and just a general loss of desire.
Right. I also recall reading about scanty emissions without actual ejaculation.
Exactly. And loss of prostatic fluid when straining. It's very detailed.
And you mentioned gleedy discharge, too.
That's right, that persistent thin discharge. And Boericke adds cold, swollen, hard, and painful testicles to that list for men.
It really builds a particular clinical picture, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
Okay, so shifting over to the female symptoms described. What stands out there?
Well, again, quite distinct symptoms. Boericke mentions scanty menses, for one,
Okay.
and an aversion to sexual intercourse. Also a feeling of relaxation in the genitals, often accompanied by leukorrhea.
That's that whitish or yellowish discharge, right?
Correct. And what's particularly striking, I think, is the mention of agalaxia, the absence of milk production linked with sadness.
So that mind-body connection again.
Precisely. Sterility is also listed, along with specific types of leukorrhea, described as yellow or transparent.
Anything else for women?
Yes. Hysterical palpitations associated with nosebleeds. Again, quite specific.
So clearly, according to Boericke, this remedy has a wide reach across both physical and emotional aspects of sexual health.
Definitely. Which brings us neatly to the mind and mood symptoms he describes.
Right. Things like sexual melancholy.
Yes, and a fear of death. A kind of sadness with a feeling that death is near.
Quite heavy. Also absent-mindedness, forgetfulness.
A lack of courage, too. And then there are those really unusual sensory symptoms.
You mean the olfactory illusions? Smelling things that aren't there?
Exactly. Boericke specifically mentions smelling herrings or musk. It really makes you wonder about the perceived effect on sensory perception.
Absolutely. And this fits with the nervous depression and feelings of foreboding, also listed.
It all paints a picture of deep-seated disturbance affecting mind and body.
Beyond those core areas, Boericke lists other notable symptoms too, doesn't he?
He does. There's mention of a gnawing, itching all over the body, especially in the eyes.
And dilated pupils, sensitivity to light.
Right. And that smell theme reappears an odor of herring or musk, actually from the nose this time.
Interesting.
Also aching in the back of the nose, but relieved by pressure. A swollen and sore spleen is mentioned too.
What about digestion?
Yes. Soft and difficult stools that apparently recede. Deep fissures in the anus. And nausea.
Nausea with a specific sensation.
Yes, a sensation of downward pressure in the intestines, making the person feel they need to physically support their bowels. Very descriptive.
And one more, quite specific trigger, tachycardia.
That's right, rapid heart rate, specifically linked to tobacco use in neurotic young men, according to the text.
Boericke also briefly compares Agnus Castus to other remedies, doesn't he?
Just briefly, yes. Selenium, phosphoric acid, camphor, lycopodium, presumably to help differentiate for practitioners using the Materia Medica.
And finally, the dosage.
The traditional range mentioned is the 1st to 6th potency. That refers to the homeopathic dilution level.
Okay. So pulling it all together, Boericke presents Agnus Castus as strongly linked to the sexual sphere, impacting vitality, desire, and function.
And accompanied by a whole constellation of mental, emotional, and other physical symptoms.
Those peculiar symptoms, like the smells, the itching, the specific bowel sensations, they seem quite key to its profile in this text.
You really are. They contribute to its unique symptom picture.
So considering this detailed historical description, it makes you think, doesn't it? What might be some modern perspectives or perhaps areas for further exploration regarding these traditional uses?
That's the interesting question, isn't it? How might we interpret or investigate these patterns today, perhaps in light of contemporary understandings of, say, hormonal balance or psychoneuroimmunology? Food for thought.